Ooh, don't climb my chair, don't climb my chair, don't climb my chair, don't climb my chair.
Remember when phones with bendy screens were the stuff of dreams?
Whoa!
Concepts we thought were so far down, we'd never get a chance to own them, let alone get to hold them in our hands. But here in 2022, the future is now. Let's talk about it. Hello and welcome to Denki channel. My name is Ken. I've always thought the concept of foldable smartphones were cool as someone that's always looking to lighten my daily carry. Some form factors can open up to be the size of a small tablet. That's one device I can leave at home. Others can fit in the palm of your hand, which is great for my pockets. But now, having been around for a couple of years, how far have foldables really come, and are they ready for prime time? To understand how far foldables have come, let's take a look at the past. In my opinion, while they're certainly not the first company to put a foldable out there, I feel like Samsung has done the most work to get mainstream audiences to seriously consider foldable smartphones. So for that reason, they're going to be the main focal point for this video. From level 1, the ground floor, the challenge with making any emerging tech catch on is escalating it to the mass market. It's relatively easy to design and build a one-off concept for a trade show, but manufacturing it at scale for your average consumer is tough when precedents for manufacturing, sales, and even marketing aren't even set yet.
Is the tech ready yet? How much bendy phone do we produce? Do people even want bendy phone?
Even corporations that have highly qualified people ask these very questions, and they're not exactly easy. Get it wrong and it hurts your bottom line. But if company strategies toward new products are like betting at a casino, Samsung gambled harder on foldables than any of its competitors. In March of 2019, they announced the Galaxy Fold. With a 4.6-inch cover display on the exterior that you could use as a normal smartphone, and a large interior 7.3-inch display that you can use for tablet mode when you open it up, Samsung threw down the ultimate multitasking device for enthusiasts that are always on the move. But as I'm sure some of you might remember, right out the gate, it had a rocky start.
After just 2 days, the internal display broke completely. The left side would either flicker or turn off completely, while the right side did the exact same.
Early review units provided to various news outlets failed in spectacular fashion. Pretty commonly, without any warnings not to do this, journalists took off the screen's protective layer, thinking it was part of the packaging. Others were plagued by debris that found its way underneath the display. The mad lads at CNET took the scrutiny even further and did their own stress tests on the phone to challenge Samsung's claims. The phone's hinge was rated to withstand 200,000 folds, or about 5 years of average use. But after subjecting their review unit to peekaboo on crack, it only lasted 60% of that, or the equivalent to 3 years of use. All this not even mentioning its eye-watering price tag of $2,000 US. The Galaxy Fold was truly made for the media, early adopters, and for Samsung to get its proof of concept to market. But for those extremely vocal that experience this device at its absolute worst, they effectively poisoned the well of perception for foldables moving forward. And despite Samsung's best attempts to right the situation, you still see a lot of people bring up the same concerns of the first generation towards Samsung's current lineup of foldables. The question then is, have they improved? And if so, by how much? Just like how tech companies jump into new product categories to diversify their growth, for normal, everyday people like you and me that are looking to do the same for our own investments, the sponsor of today's video, Masterworks, offers an intriguing solution. Purchasing stake in art. And no, not the blockchain kind, contemporary. Investments in art were previously limited to the super wealthy, but Masterworks is changing that and giving everyday people like you and me a piece of the pie. The experts at Masterworks buy the art, we're talking Banksys and Picassos. Then they open the floor to their users to purchase stake in these individual pieces. The art is then held over time until Masterworks' experts find the best opportunity to sell, at which point all of the investors see their returns. The key here being that contemporary art isn't as volatile as some other investment opportunities. Crypto. Most of all, if you have shares but don't feel like waiting until Masterworks sells the piece, they also have a secondary market for you to buy and sell shares with other members on the platform. If you're curious about Masterworks, I will leave a link in the description. They're letting my viewers skip the waitlist, and the sign up is super easy. It only takes 60 seconds. Huge thanks to Masterworks for sponsoring this portion of the video. And now, back to Samsung. For Samsung specifically, who accounts for almost 90% of this niche globally, their foldables are edging closer and closer to offering what the company's full-fledged flagships do. But there's still work to be done before they're fully accepted by the market at large. As of the making of this video, Samsung has the Galaxy Z Fold 3 as well as the Z Flip 3, which was built on 3 years worth of feedback, tweaking, and refining the formula. They beefed up the specs to flagship level across the board, especially for the Z Flip, which seemed to lag behind a generation in performance until this current iteration. The folding interior screens on both of these devices dramatically improved as well. Not only do they look better, maxing out at a 120Hz refresh rate, but they're tougher as well. Samsung rates it 80% stronger than the previous generation, which felt soft and easy to indent with your fingernail. The new screen not only holds up better to abrasives, but the extra rigidity makes it feel closer to glass than ever before, and the dreaded crease, while still present, feels less so. Samsung also made these phones thinner overall, which is great because they get particularly thick when closed. With this current lineup, these phones are also cheaper than ever too. The Fold got kicked down to $1,800, just kind of whatever, though you can find it on sale for a few $100s cheaper from time to time. But really, Samsung's power play was pricing the Z Flip 3 at an aggressive $999.
Wow.
That's cheaper than some flagships at this point. Okay, so all this sounds rather nice on paper, but how are people responding in the real world? Following the launch of the Z Flip 3 and the Fold 3, Samsung went on a marketing blitz to get these phones in front of people's eyes. And it worked. Samsung sold 4.6 million Z Flip 3s and 2.5 million Z Fold 3s, according to some recent reports. I actually see Z Flip 3s out in the wild more than I ever expected. Someone helping me at a hotel desk had one, same for the cashier at my local 7-Eleven. And I even saw some just walking around at the mall. There is definitely still some hesitation in the market though, especially amongst enthusiasts. So I put out a tweet recently gauging what my subscribers' temperature was on foldables as a whole. Even though the prices have come down, a majority of you still pointed out that you're waiting for these devices to get cheaper. And it seemed to be expressed not by just those outside the US where phones can be pricier, but even by fellow Americans, which I totally get. My fellow Americans. Forking over flagship money is risky for a still relatively new type of product when traditional tried and true options already exist. I'd love to see the day when mid-range foldables become a thing, which will honestly be one of the biggest tells that they've taken off. The good news here though is that we know Samsung is taking this product segment very seriously, and that its growth is rapidly accelerating year over year. Of course, as the tech gets more widely produced and demand increases, cheaper foldables from Samsung could be a reality in the not too distant future. But at the very least, when the Z Fold and Flip 4 come out, current gen models will certainly be available at a lower price point. Contrary to critical belief that I've been given, I do think that the tech is already there to consider picking one up over a traditional flagship, and that folding and flipping is more than just a random gimmick. But I also can't deny that my personal thresholds for these things are warped given my line of work, and I don't expect everyone to feel the same way. The biggest hesitation that I've gotten from that one tweet is for durability, which is clearly not in a spot yet where people are comfortable to just jump out and buy these phones. There's also some serious wear and tear concerns where people are starting to see stress cracks only months after buying their phones. Even worse, that it seems way too common for comfort that Samsung's authorized repair people and even Samsung themselves at times don't know how to handle broken devices. All this to say, there is a lot of work to be done here. But if there's a ray of light for this genre of product, is that a lot of you think that it's cool and that there's potential. Remember, there was a time where we thought big phones were kind of a lot. But that ended up becoming the norm. And I think just like that Galaxy Note, foldables will slowly become the norm as well. Clip this in 5 years when I'm wrong. That's all I got for this video. I appreciate y'all for watching, and otherwise, I'll catch y'all later.